Hey, hey, spooky gang. Y'all smell that? Kind of smells like.
That smell. A kind of smelly smell. A smelly smell that smells smelly.
And no, I'm not talking about your upper lip. I'm talking about the sweet smell of October. October is finally here, spooky brothers and sisters. Everybody has been anticipating this all year, and we finally get to have Halloween for every single day of October. And with Halloween comes a horror movie of every single day of October. And honestly, there ain't nothing better than it. For all of my horror lovers out there, welcome back to Terror of Tech. It's your boy Tech, and of course y'all already know what this video is about. We are about to finish up the 31 days of horror movies for all of October. My previous two videos were going through 1 through 10 and then 11 through 20 respectively. So today what we got is movies 21 through 31. Now, so far this list has been nothing but bangers. I know you see the ticker below showing all of the movies that we've already discussed, and I can't wait to get into all of the rest of the movies. But with that being said, for all the people who are new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to your boy. We're on the road to 1K subs. Just the last couple of videos that we done dropped for these movies in October has really shot up our subscriber count. So please keep the momentum going. Listen, I appreciate all the love and support that we've been getting so far. And as we continue to get more support, then that means more content and all that good stuff. So I can't wait to bring y'all pretty much the whole horror world. So like I said, go ahead and subscribe, like the video, and comment down below what are some of your favorite horror movies to watch during the month of October and or on Halloween day itself. Because as we know, every day in October is Halloween, but October 31st just happens to be the pinnacle. Let's go ahead and get into the remainder 11 movies that you should be watching this October. Starting at the number 21 spot, so the 21st day of October, the movie that you should be watching is Let Me In. Let Me In is a great movie, and it is the US version to a movie Let the Right One In. Regardless, I really like this version of the movie, and essentially the movie is about a bullet young boy befriends a young female vampire who lives in secrecy with her guardian. I've gone over this movie before, but I love everything about vampires, and with this movie and it playing on the element of, you know, people dealing with bullying and things of that nature. So Owen is such a likable character. You see the struggles that he has with his family at home, and then he has to go to school and have to deal with more bullying. So then for him to have somebody that he can rely on, like this girl Chloe Grace Moretz as the vampire, it just makes it that much better. She's really good, and she was really young in this role, but she was still really good, and some really nice kills. It's just a really dark film. I like the way it's shot. Just overall, it's a really good movie. One of the better vampire films that is out there, and for sure, one of those movies that you should be throwing on this October. The next movie that I wanted to talk about is The First Omen. The First Omen came out earlier this year, and it is easily one of the better horror films that came out this year. Essentially, the movie is about a young American woman who is sent to Rome to begin a life of service to the church, but encounters a darkness that causes her to question her faith and uncovers a terrifying conspiracy that hopes to bring about the birth of an evil incarnate. So with this movie, everybody's familiar with the Omen and Damien and the whole nine regarding that. Well, this movie is a prequel to all of those events and all of those movies that we have already seen. Honestly, it was really good. It really surprised me. There's some really good and strong performances in this. It's shot really well. It's really dark in a lot of scenes. Being completely honest, what makes this funny is there was another movie that came out in 2024 as well, which was Immaculate. And I promise y'all, these movies are basically two of the same movies with just different casts, honestly. So you have Sydney Sweeney and Immaculate as the protagonist, and then so really you could throw on either one, and I think both of them are available on Hulu. But regardless, really good movies if you're really big into, you know, exorcisms and you know, demons and you know, just basically a lot of dealing with religious aspects, fighting against evil. So really good movie, and for sure one of the better of 2024, and is locked in on this definitive list of the 31 movies that you should be watching this October. The next movie that I want to list is one that's renowned and everybody knows it. It's one of the best horror movies in the entire genre, which is the classic from 1996, Scream. Scream is Scream. I mean, there isn't really too much more for me to say. I know I've talked about this movie a lot on the channel, but just what it brought to the horror genre in the 90s was something that the horror genre really needed. It was just a level of freshness and creativity, especially including the whole meta aspect where people and characters in the movie are aware of the situations that they're in relation to how they watch horror movies and all of the horror tropes and cliches that they go through. So that was an interesting aspect that they added to the horror genre, and it spawned plenty other movies after this. Some of them good, some of them bad, but none of them take away from the cultural significance and the impact that Scream had on the genre as a whole. And ultimately, it's just one of those perfect little fun movies that you want to watch around Halloween time. It really gets you in the mood. You see Randy and everybody in the big house, going around, and he's trying to tell people about the rules to survive a horror movie, all this good stuff. So just a really good movie overall. Ghostface is one of the better killers in the horror genre for sure, and just overall, Scream is just one of those movies that should be on your screen this October for sure. The next movie that I want to list is Monster House. Now, I know this one's gonna catch y'all off guard for sure, but I love everything about Monster House. Yeah, it's more on the cartoon side and more so made for kids, but honestly, regardless, it just is a really good movie. And I love the little group of friends and Chowder and just the whole nine. I love all that. The babysitter adds a nice little element. Nevercracker, his old ass, just overall, just everything is good. The house itself is really good as some form of an antagonist, and just a really fun Halloween vibe movie that you could watch and you could throw on with, I'm sure many of y'all may have kids already, things of that nature. You could throw this movie on and it's not gonna petrify them, you know what I'm saying? Just good overall. It's funny and yeah, it's just honestly one of my favorites that I like to throw on during October for sure. And just to give a quick synopsis of the movie, 3 teens discover their neighbor's house is really a living, breathing, scary monster. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, it explains itself. It's a really good movie, and one that you could throw on and watch regardless of what age you are for sure. The next movie that I want to list is one that is definitely controversial in terms of the horror genre and whether it actually is horror or if it's more of like a psychological thriller or suspense type mystery movie, and that would be The Silence of the Lambs. The Silence of the Lambs is a classic no matter what genre you decide to throw it in. It's just a fantastic movie from beginning to end. For the people who just so happen to not be familiar with this movie, it's about a young FBI cadet who must receive the help of an incarcerated and manipulative cannibal killer to help catch another serial killer, a madman who skins his victims. Between the little mental battle that Clarice has with Hannibal and every time she talks with him, so those mental games and one trying to out strategize the other, and then while she's having to do that, trying to figure out all of these crimes that are actively happening and everything that entails with Buffalo Bill, it just is a really overall encompassing movie that gives you pretty much every angle that you would ever look for. For the true crime people that like that kind of aspect, it's good for you. If you like mystery, it's good there. If you like suspense, it's good there. Thriller, it's good there. And I still personally think it actually is a horror movie because there's so many different horror elements. It's just psychological terror. That's what it truly is ultimately. Like I said, easily one of the top 25 horror movies of all time. So there is really no reason why a movie like this couldn't be on the list. Now, the reason why I put this on the list also is just because it's different from a lot of the other movies that I've already listed. It gives you a little break from, some of those movies that are dealing more so with demons and exorcisms and paranormal aspect and stuff like that. So for sure, The Silence of the Lambs is a ultimate horror classic and is a movie for sure that should be on that TV screen this October. The next movie that I wanted to list is The Belko Experiment. The Belko Experiment is a really fun movie that came out around 2016, and essentially this movie is about a twisted social experiment. There are 80 Americans that are locked in a high-rise corporate office in Colombia and ordered by an unknown voice coming from the company's intercom system to participate in a deadly game of kill or be killed. This movie is really unique, and you have to think, so like all of these people are trapped in an office, and somebody over the intercom is saying, hey, you have 30 minutes to kill 20 of the people that are in your office. And if you don't kill 20 people within 30 minutes, then we're gonna kill 40 at the 30-minute mark. You know what I'm saying? So like, you can only imagine the predicament and, you know, the way that people have to strategize and different factions are created amongst each other, because you obviously, you know, some people are closer to others than, you know, other people. There's the whole aspect of some people not wanting to kill at all versus some that are gonna kill, you know, regardless, just because they're trying to make sure that they're, you know, self-preservation at the end of the day. So you have all of that going together, and it just makes for a very fun ride, a very fun movie. It's just honestly one of those movies that you just sit back and don't take too seriously. You just sit, chill, drink a beer if you like, have a couple shots, you know, whatever you like to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not condoning you do that, but just saying, just sit back, unwind, and just have fun with this movie. It's not a movie that you will sit there and take ultimately serious, but truly is a good movie, and one of my favorites that I like to throw on in October. The next movie that I want to list is Dawn of the Dead, the remake from 2004. So this movie is making this list purely just for us to get some zombie action in this, and I'm a big fan of zombies, and this movie is like a perfect culmination of everything that I like in my zombie movies. For the people who are unfamiliar with this movie is about a nurse, a policeman, and a young married couple, a salesman, and other survivors of a worldwide plague that is producing aggressive, flesh-eating zombies that take refuge in a mega Midwestern shopping mall. The biggest thing that really makes this movie great is not only just some really great actors. You have Mekhi Phifer, you have Vin Rames, and, you know, some other people as well, but it's really fast paced, and that's what sort of keeps you on the quote unquote edge of your seat. Even though they have themselves locked in the mall, you know, of course there's going to be inner turmoil amongst themselves, and then, you know, of course dealing with zombies and them breaking in, and then when they get in, then you have to move to another location and secure that, and then, I mean, you see how vast and how many zombies there are all together in the town, and you see, you know, different survivors that are, you know, across the way, and they're trying to find a way to communicate with them. There's just so many different little layers and stuff that I like about this movie. It just keeps you on the move. It's also another one of those fun movies, and the biggest thing with me talking about it being fast-paced is the zombies actually run. Now, in a lot of zombie movies that you watch, you know, they have that whole Frankenstein's monster, you know, walking like just like a very slow zombie, but you really don't get any of that. They are full-blown sprinting in this movie, so when you see them, you gotta go. There is no walking and jogging and all that, thinking that you're just gonna avoid them. Like, no, you better book it. So that's what makes this movie really good, and for sure one of the ones that I enjoy. The next movie that is on this list of our 31 days of horror movies for October is Malignant. I've mentioned Malignant before, just a few videos ago. I think it was during my best horror movies that are on HBO Max. But Malignant truly is a very good movie that came out just a couple of years ago. It's a James Wan film, and if anybody knows by this point, I love the majority of James Wan's work. Yeah, just to give a quick background on this movie, it's about a lady named Madison, and she is paralyzed by shocking visions of grisly murders, and her torment worsens as she discovers that these waking dreams are in fact terrifying realities. This movie is really twisted, and really, like I said, creativity and unique, and, you know, terms like that are just really what stick out to me. Some of the visions and things that she's seeing, and though the visions of the murders are so good, so dark and ominous, they really capture what nightmares really feel like. And then the fact that it turns out to be her reality, and I'm not going to spoil too much just because the movie is relatively new, so I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who still haven't seen it, but the twist of the movie is really good, and also a very fun movie. It's not, you know, sit there and dreadful slow burn or anything like that. There is a good amount of action to keep you going, but overall just like a really good movie, one of the better movies from the past 5 years, one that I love to throw on every October. The next movie that I want to talk about is almost one of those quintessential Halloween movies, which is Trick or Treat. What makes this movie different from all of the other ones on the list is that it is an anthology movie. And essentially with an anthology movie, there are 5 Halloween stories. There's one about a principal who has a secret life, a virgin who is looking for her first time, a group of friends who pull a prank, a woman who loathes Halloween and don't respect the rules of it, and a mean old man who meets a demonic trick-or-treater. I mean, just it gives you pretty much everything you want. You have 5 different stories within the movie. Overall, just really good movie. I love all of the 5 little short stories. It's just perfect. It's just everything about this movie screams Halloween vibes, because you have people walking around on Halloween night. You have 5 different perspectives of what Halloween night looks like. That's just almost a perfect movie when it comes to thinking of what am I gonna watch this Halloween and what's really gonna get me in the Halloween mood. And Sam as some form of an antagonist or a villain is just that much better. So you really can't beat this movie, and if you're not throwing it on this October, I don't know what the hell you're doing. The second to last movie that I want to talk about, it's gonna be a little surprising, and that would be Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Why do I have this movie specifically separated from the Halloween franchise? It's because this movie obviously is standalone and it has nothing to do with Michael Myers. But 2, because of that, how much Halloween atmosphere and everything that this movie entails, it's just like a perfect movie that you should really just be watching on its own. Like, I would think of this movie in a lot of ways as the equivalent of a Trick or Treat. Like, you could literally just change the name of the movie and just call it Season of the Witch, and I don't see why, like, you know, the majority of people for some reason have a problem with this movie, and really is just because they feel like, oh, it doesn't have Michael Myers, oh, this movie's not good. Bro, if you really sit down and watch this movie, it's truly good. I used to think the same way leading up to, you know, I don't know, by the time I was 20, and then when I actually sat there and watched this movie, I was like, oh shit, like, it's actually a good movie. It's perfect for Halloween, Silver Shamrock and all of those masks and everything that goes into that. And just to give a quick background for the people who aren't familiar with this, kids all over America want Silver Shamrock mask for Halloween. Dr. Daniel Chalice seeks to uncover a plot by Silver Shamrock owner Connell Cochran. Tom Atkins as Dan Chalice and Stacey Nelkin as Ellie Grimbridge. Like, there's just really good characters, strong performances, and then of course you can really feel that John Carpenter-esque theme all throughout the movie. It just, everything about it just feels great. It really would be an 80s classic if everybody took the time to sit there and actually watch it and not be so concerned about the fact that Michael Myers isn't in it. But, you know, that part is what it is at this point, and I just hope that everybody will give this movie a chance, because it truly is a movie that should be revered when it comes to Halloween season. And for the 31st day of October, Halloween, its pinnacle, the movie that you should be watching, which is really more so a franchise, and it's obvious, it should be Halloween without a doubt. Everybody knows my affinity for Halloween and Michael Myers. It's just, it has such an indelible mark on my childhood and, you know, everything that I loved growing up. Michael Myers is like a perfect villain in my opinion, and is the best of all time, to make sure that that's clear. Just considering everything that Halloween embodies in terms of the holiday, and the majority of the Halloween movies have really great atmosphere and really getting you in the Halloween mood. I mean, you just really can't beat it. And one thing that I wanted to go over regarding the Halloween franchise is sort of how I like to watch the Halloween franchise. Because we all know there's a million timelines regarding this franchise. So the way that I personally like to watch them is, so I'll watch the original from 78, then I'll watch Halloween 2, 81, I'll watch Halloween 4, not gonna lie to y'all, I skip 5, I'll watch Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers, I skip H2O, I know that's gonna be a shocker too, I skip H2O because I'm good on that, I skip Resurrection, and then I pretty much just jump straight to the David Gordon Green trilogy, which is Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. But I'm not watching Halloween Ends. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. Like, honestly, damn near, I'd rather watch Halloween 5 than I'd rather watch Halloween Ends. And there's nothing that y'all could tell me that will convince me to watch that. It's just so much that, yeah, whatever. We're not even gonna get into it. But that's truly, honestly, how I like to watch it. So like I said, Halloween 1, 2, 4, skip 5, 6, then basically just jump to 2018 and Kills, and you can really just wrap it up from there. You don't need to watch Resurrection. I don't like either of the Rob Zombie films. Now, besides the way that I like to watch it, if I had to tell somebody who was, you know, really just getting into the Halloween movies and wanted to know what is like the definitive best way or best timeline to watch, I honestly would probably say do the first one, 2018, Kills, and Ends. It kind of hurts my heart to say that. I mean, I love 2018 and I love Kills for sure, and obviously who doesn't love the first one? And Halloween 2, you know, 1981 is my absolute favorite out of the entire franchise. But respectfully, I cannot ignore, you know, sort of what the end of Halloween 2 spawned. Now, do I still love Halloween 4? Love Halloween 4. But is Halloween 4 a better direction to go in terms of story as opposed to a Halloween 2018, which completely negates the family aspect, which brings Michael back to being more creepy because there is no motive. It's just this guy wants to kill pretty much whoever happens to be in his path, and he still does it very sleek and mysteriously and in the shadows and just popping up out of nowhere type of stuff. Perfect. Halloween 4 introduces more of a having to specifically go after family members, and that be the whole motive and the drive for why you want to kill people and this, that, and the other. Like, and then the Cult of Thorn, don't even get me started. So like, it's all of that stuff which really sort of starts to mix it up. Now, when I watch the movies, am I personally thinking about the fact that Michael was influenced by Cult of Thorn or anything like that? No, I can erase all of that out of my mind. So that's why I'm cool with watching 1, 2, 4, and 6. Perfectly fine. But for the average person, I'm sure that they're not having that one bit. So I wanted to give you the best timeline that I think will really have you enjoy Michael Myers in the Halloween movies the best, which I said is watch the first one, watch 2018, watch Kills, and then watch Ends, and then just call it a day. If you want to skip Ends, I 100% understand, but at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. But that is it, Spooky Gang. That is the 31 days of horror movies for all of October. This Halloween is going to be really exciting and really special. I hope that you all, if you're not watching some of the movies that I list, that you're at least watching a horror movie for every day of October. It's the perfect time to be doing it. And I don't know about y'all general locale, but it's been pretty cloudy and muggy over on my side, so hey, it just makes it that much better to really set those vibes and create an atmosphere that's really perfect for watching horror movies. So shoot, like I said, y'all throw on some of those horror movies this October, and y'all comment down below what are some of your favorite horror movies, one from my list of the movies for October, and what are your personal favorites that you like to watch during October. Y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, like the video. I appreciate all of y'all, and per usual, y'all stay blessed, and most importantly, y'all stay spooky. Happy October.